This one is in June.
Betty Waite and her son Todd look back at images of the costly oil cleanup that's led to a $345,000 bill from the P.E.I. government they can't afford to pay, and now a lien on Betty and her husband's home. It means if they sell it, the proceeds could potentially go to the province.
I don't know what we're going to do. I guess we'll die in this house because we won't be able to afford to sell it. You know, hopefully we'll be healthy enough to stay here. I'd love to downsize, but that's not going to happen now.
This all started in September 2023 after their 1,100-liter oil tank in their clay basement was filled to the top.
Anyway, the next morning I could smell oil in the house, and I thought, what is going on? So my husband went down to check, and the tank was empty.
It was a shocking amount of oil, and we were pretty concerned about the situation. And you know, your first thought is the environment, and you have to clean that up.
It appears all that oil leaked through a hole in the filter leading to the tank. They figured cleaning it up would be costly, but that it would be covered by insurance. They were shocked when their provider told them it wasn't.
My mind went to, like, this can't be right. Like, essentially, I figured it would be mandatory to have insurance for something like this. Like, why else would you have insurance other than something you couldn't afford to clean up on your own?
Still, the Waites reported the spill to P.E.I.'s Environment Department and were ordered to arrange for the cleanup. They couldn't afford to do that, so the department stepped in and hired a company to do the job.
The reason why we went in is because we didn't want to see this affect a third party. It's one thing for you to have an oil spill on your property, but it really gets complicated if there's others in the area and this oil spill is going to affect them.
The Waites said they asked department officials many times whether they'd be on the hook for the cleanup costs, but were never given a clear answer.
It seemed like nobody really knew, and I'd spoke to many people. I'd emailed Stephen Myers, I'd emailed my MLA.
It was very stressful, like not knowing what was going to happen.
Finally, last summer, crews dug up and replaced more than 600 metric tons of contaminated soil around a section of the home. Then in November, the Waites got their massive bill.
I was almost numb. Like, the amount of money for this family, like, it might as well have been $10 million. Like, it's an unpayable amount of money.
I can't explain it. It's just, it's a lot.
The family questions how it cost that much, whether government did its due diligence to keep costs down, and why it took so long for the cleanup to happen.
If they didn't wait for 9 months to clean this up, it wouldn't have cost $350,000. It wouldn't have had the whole winter of water and snow melting and spreading that oil further.
Greg Wilson says there was a legislative process the department had to follow, which took months. Regardless, he says it was a big spill that inevitably cost a lot of money to clean up.
I mean, this is a tragic situation. We haven't had to deal with this in over a decade with the department, right? So this is not something that happens all the time, where you have somebody who can't pay for the cleanup or the insurance company doesn't cover it.
The Insurance Bureau of Canada says many home insurers actually don't offer coverage for oil spill cleanups. Others only offer it as an add-on. The Waites think insurers and government should do a better job educating people on the importance of coverage and the need to check if you have it.
A bit of prevention would go a long, long way. Like, it never should have happened. It never should have been like this.
Steve Bruce, CBC News, Sherbrooke.